Joining me now with more on the coronavirus, the director of the MA program in public health from the University of Haifa, Professor Manfred Green. Professor Green, thank you so much for being back with us. Now,
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to have you. So, am I just suffering from pandemic PTSD in thinking that it's still too early to be celebrating the end? Or is the pandemic really and truly under control in Israel, as many health authorities are saying?
I think that we need to see it in a kind of a perspective of infectious diseases generally. Certainly, the vaccine has made a huge difference. And we know now that people who are vaccinated are much safer and they're almost fully protected. So that's going to change everything. But I think we need to recognize that the disease is still around and still spreading. And we're not going to be able to say that it's over until it's over pretty much everywhere in the world. So it's not over, but I think we can start going back to normal life.
Well, so that's, I think, what I'm trying to figure out, because I understand that as most health authorities are really saying that we're never going to be truly rid of the coronavirus, that we're just going to have to live with it, but it'll be under control. So have we reached that point in time with, thousands of people heading back to stadiums for soccer games and Netanyahu hitting the bars over the weekend to bartend, et cetera? Are we really at a point where we can say we have it under control, we can live with it?
I think we're pretty much at the stage, if you could make a comparison, of a flu epidemic now. So we're seeing the kind of disease probably that we'd see in a flu epidemic. And the hospitals now, I believe, are much less under stress because there are much fewer very severe cases. This whole concern about new variants is also a little strange because new variants can arrive in Israel just as they can arise anywhere else because the virus changes everywhere. So I think we have to recognize that we're going to be in a situation where we have to watch out for new variants both here and what might be happening abroad.
But do you think that we will be free of lockdowns, at least for the foreseeable future?
I would hope so. I think that we need to look for other strategies. I think that we need to stop thinking only in terms of lockdowns and just moderate behavior if we see the diseases going up too much, as we do often with influenza. Maybe there will be times when we want to close schools for a while because but not for long periods, just for very short periods of time.
All right. So what can you tell us maybe about the trial to vaccinate kids between 12 and 16? Officials are saying that we may have a program in place for vaccinating children in that age group by May, June. Do you think that that's accurate, that we'll reach that goal?
Yeah, I really hope so, because without vaccinating children, we're not going to really control the pandemic. And the vaccine is actually a safe vaccine. Its record is very good. So we're not really expecting anything unusual in kids. And I think that the trial, which is really trial of safety and not necessarily efficacy, because we assume that it's going to be as effective as it is in adults. So basically just to look to see whether there are more side effects in kids than we see in adults. But we're not expecting anything unusual.
And I understand that the sample size for the trial right now with children is about 2,000. Is that enough of a sample size to get good enough data to say, yeah, this vaccine is fine for kids for the most part?
Right. That's good for common side effects. But if there are side effects that are more, less frequent, obviously that's not big enough. But as I say, we can monitor it. And the vaccine, it's a killed vaccine. So it's not a live vaccine. It's not really killed either, but it's not a live vaccine, inactivated. So there's nothing really that we should really be concerned about. There will be side effects that we've seen in adults. It is possible, by the way, that, and I'm just throwing this out as a guess, that at a later stage we may reduce the dosing in children if we see that there are more side effects.
All right. Well, I can't wait to hear more about what's coming next. Hopefully, more and more easing of restrictions. Professor Green, thank you so much for being with us.
Pleasure. All the best.